Polaris' Sportsman 570 has long been a favorite of everybody on the dirt tracks crew. Yes, we definitely do love the big bore, top-of-the-line rigs, but the 570 can do pretty much everything they can do at a fraction of the price. It has always been the best example I could think of when I was asked if it's really necessary to shop at the top of the food chain to have the maximum amount of fun. I would even go so far as to say that I personally think it's one of, if not the best, all-round value in the industry right now. So when Polaris announced a completely redesigned Sportsman 570, I was intrigued, but also skeptical. There really was nothing wrong with the old one, and I can definitely think of a few ATVs that got worse after a redesign. This redesign is actually pretty broad. It covers not only the 570, but also the 450, and it covers the entire single-seat 570 lineup except for the X2 and the 6x6. There are now 7 different models of 570 Sportsman: the base, EPS, Premium, Hunt Edition, Trail, Utility HD LE, and the Ultimate Trail LE. There are some pretty important differences between these models that need to be understood before we go any further though. Most notably is the front suspension. There are actually 2 570 platforms in 2021. The base, EPS, Premium, and Utility versions all feature the same McPherson strut front suspension setups we're all very familiar with at this point. However, the Hunt, Trail, and Ultimate Trail versions feature an arched double A-arm setup that yields an extra 0.7 inches of travel, though overall ground clearance numbers stay the same. The model we have here today is a Sportsman 570 Trail. Now, usually I keep discussions about price and value till the end of the review, but I'm going to talk about it up front today because I really think it puts this Trail model into better perspective in light of the entire Sportsman 570 lineup. The model that's priced directly below the Trail that we have here is the 570 Premium Edition. It features the McPherson strut front end, standard on-demand 4x4 system, and 25-inch tires on 12-inch aluminum rims. The Trail Edition features the new arch double A-arm front suspension, the higher-end true on-demand 4x4 system, and includes 14-inch aluminum wheels with 26-inch tires. It also comes with a winch. The rest of the specs are pretty much identical, but the price difference between the two is only $600, which makes the Trail Edition with an MSRP of only $89.99 an absolutely outstanding value and a no-brainer upgrade over the Premium. Let me explain why. First and foremost is ride quality. The older McPherson strut front end is definitely not a bad riding system, but it's simply not as plush as the double A-arm setup. The extra 0.7 inches of travel is somewhat inconsequential because it's how the double A-arms work that really matters. The ride is simply more compliant and more comfortable on the trail. Second, it handles better, and not by a little bit. If there was one thing you could pick on with the McPherson strut front suspension design, it would be in regards to handling. This is simply due to the geometrics of a single A-arm design. It certainly isn't terrible, but again, the double A-arm setup is way better. Handling is more predictable and precise, especially on rough trails when speeds increase. Third, arched A-arms are superior. The more room you have underneath your ATV to pass over obstacles, the better. It means less contact with rocks and better traction in the mud. Now, these 3 points are the most important ones because they're things you can't just add to the 570 Premium Edition. They're differences in the actual chassis. The next 2 are just value-added extras that aren't included with the Premium. A winch is pretty self-explanatory and represents at least a $400 value. 14-inch aluminum wheels, they just look cool, and 26-inch tires offer better traction. Between the superior front suspension, arched A-arms, winch, and the wheel and tire setup, the 570 Trail is absolutely worth $600 more than the Premium. In reality, it's worth a lot more than that. But before you get the impression that I think this ATV is perfect, I do have a few things to gripe about. First and most glaring is the power steering. It offers way too much assist for high-speed riding. On the trail, it's still too much, but it's less noticeable than it is when the surface gets smoother and the speeds get higher. This excessively high assist gives the new 570 a very twitchy and off-center feel, which is not confidence-inspiring. Sure, you can just slow down, but who wants to do that? My next gripe is with this front rack. Now, it includes a rack extension, which gives you the impression that you should be able to load it up with a whole bunch of stuff, but this hinge is just ridiculous. It's held together with little rubber O-rings. It's loose and floppy, which results in, well, this. It feels like you could just rip it off with minimal effort. This needs improvement for sure. Okay, so I've complained now, and I feel better. Truthfully though, those are really the only two things I have to complain about with this ATV. It looks tougher, rides better, handles better, is more comfortable, and more functional than the old Sportsman 570, which was already one of our favorite ATVs. My concern that Polaris changing the Sportsman 570 might result in a less awesome Sportsman 570 was completely unfounded, and I really should have known better. When Polaris sets out to redesign and improve an already awesome model, they pretty much always succeed. The 2021 Sportsman 570 Trail is just another example in a long history of Polaris vehicles that get better and better with each new version. Have we at Dirt Trax found our new favorite ATV? Only time will tell, but at this point, things are looking very promising.
If you've enjoyed this segment, make sure you hit the like button, and also comment down below because we love hearing from our fans and we try to reply as much as possible. And also, make sure you subscribe because here at Dirt Trax, we've always got cool stuff coming your way.